Franco Colapinto. If I was Franco Colapinto, what would I do? Well, simply put, it's going to be a pretty short video because it's not really that deep. I would stay with Williams for 2025 as a reserve driver. I just think personally it's the best way forward. Because, hear me out. Assuming he doesn't fall off of a cliff and drop absolute honkers for the remainder of the season, I genuinely believe what Colapinto has done in these few races he's participated in for Williams is enough to get a seat on the 2026 grid. Dare I say, if Sargent was sacked sooner and he came in sooner and did what he's doing now, he would have already had a 2025 seat somewhere. But it's just not going to happen. And honestly, that's okay. You know, like some people think you just have to go in the first seat that's available just so that you'll be on the grid. But honestly, in this case, I don't agree. I genuinely think Colapinto would be better off staying in Williams' good graces, because I personally think that would be the easiest way to get a seat, even if it is not with Williams in 2026. The question now becomes, what do you do in 2025? Again, don't go to Sauber. I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, Colapinto should go to Sauber. I think Sauber would be a great... No, it would not be a great place. It would be the worst possible place for him to go to. You see, folks, Colapinto has been able to do what he's done. He's scored these points that he's scored because the Williams is a somewhat competitive car. It is more competitive now than I think it was at the beginning of the season. Williams, car-wise, are in a very good place. Sauber, car-wise, are in the worst place possible. They are the worst car on the grid. Not even Alpine is worse. Sauber are the worst car on the grid. They have reduced a guy that has scored race wins in this sport to dead last in the championship. Bottas is last in the championship driving this thing. Why would I want Franco Colapinto to drive this? Why would I want him to drive a car against a guy that is better than Albon in the form of Nico Hülkenberg in a backmarker vehicle? How that I don't see the Sauber in 2025 being a car in which Colapinto can continue to show his talents. I think if he drives that car, it'll be the Bottas effect, where he'll be in a car so ass that he can't prove anything, and people will start to forget how good he was at Williams. If he crashes the Sauber, people will say, oh, this Colapinto guy, he ain't that good. I don't want that to happen. So as a result, I don't think he should go to Sauber. Staying with Williams and being in their good graces. Listen, man, it worked for Lawson. Sometimes being on the sidelines when you're white hot is to your benefit, because the second somebody underperforms, they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, man, look how well Colapinto did. Put Colapinto in that seat. That's the kind of effect, that's the kind of built up energy that you can have. That's the type of lightning in a bottle type energy Colapinto can have in 2025, even by not being there. And this is where the other plan comes in. If I'm Colapinto, oh buddy, I would do a whole ass world tour, bro. I would drive any and everything. You'd see him driving LMP2s in ELMS or IMSA or the world, not World Endurance, but you get me. I would be driving any, I'd be doing one-offs in DTM, you know what I'm saying? But I would not, and this is the other thing I absolutely would not do, I would not go back to F2. Franco Colapinto, listen man, I thought it would be funny if a guy like him were to go back to F2 just to show how bad the series is when it comes to unearthing actual talent. You'd see how good Colapinto did in F1 this year, and then you'd see him go back to F2 and struggle. It'd be like, alright, clearly the series is the problem. I want that to happen, but I don't want him to go back to F2 at the same time. I think it'd just be a waste of time. Just like Sauber, it would be a means of people forgetting how good he was. You know, luckily it didn't happen to Behrman. And honestly, that theory of people forgetting how good you are is low-key being disproved by people like Behrman. But again, it's still important to me that he doesn't go back to F2 and he doesn't go to Sauber. Williams reserve and race other series in your spare time if possible. Do the Rolex 24, and I'd love to see Colapinto at the Rolex 24 next year. Put Colapinto in an LMP2 and send him to Daytona, man. Send him to Daytona. That's what I want to see. Yeah, there are also rumors that he might even join the Red Bull family. Honestly, I don't want that for him either. And if it does happen, I'd prefer it be 2026 than 2025. Because again, Red Bull are in conveyor belt mode, man. They're trying to offload Perez despite the contract re-signing. They offloaded Ricardo. They're trying to find the next Verstappen. They're trying to find the heir to Verstappen in case he dips to go to another series or he dips to go to Aston. Newsflash, if Verstappen leaves Red Bull, there's no doubt in my mind he's going to Aston Martin. But that's what Red Bull are trying to do. And I think if Colapinto goes into a situation like that, where he's expected to perform immediately, even though he has done it at Williams, I think there will be more pressure. And I think it might make him susceptible to overdriving, to making mistakes, putting him in a position where he won't be comfortable enough to perform well. He's in a very comfortable spot right now because he's replacing somebody that didn't perform well, and he does not have a contract with Williams for 2025. So in theory, there's nothing to lose, so to speak. And I want him to stay in a situation like that, and that's why he should stay at Williams. Do not go to Cash App, V Carb, RB Minardi. Don't go to Minardi. Yeah? If you think you're that guy and you think you could beat Lawson, maybe try it. But I think in terms of longevity, Williams is the place to be. That is my rant. There's nothing else to talk about. Again, the Sauber thing just doesn't make sense to me. I was watching a Law VS video and he was like, listen, man, Binotto ain't gonna prioritize you. You're gonna be a stopgap to Binotto. Yeah? You're gonna be a stopgap to Binotto the same way Theo Pourchaire isn't getting anywhere because he's not a part of the Binotto master plan. And that's to Pourchaire's detriment. And fret not, because honestly, the next video might cover that. My next video might just be about that. So stay tuned. But yeah, the end. Colapinto, stay at Williams, be a reserve for 2025. They'll definitely sign you in 2026 at Albon's expense. Or somebody else will. There will be free seats in 2026 that are either at the level of or better than Williams. And you just need to be in a spot to snatch them up. That's what Colapinto should do in 2025. Be a reserve and maybe race in some other series. Maybe do some super formula. Yeah, that'd be nice. Some DTM. Some LMP toury. You know, I know he's done LMP2 before. That's what I would do. Rant. Oh, it's not really even a rant, is it? It's just me speaking my mind. Ramble. There we go. Unscripted. Unscripted over. I've been Intern Talks Wheel. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to support it in any way you see fit, whether that be liking or subscribing. But that's the end of the video, yes? Thank you for tuning in. Till next time.